You know that feeling, right? That massive surge of pride when someone you've never even met, who just happens to be wearing the same colored jersey as you, scores a goal? Or that little flash of anger you get towards someone wearing the rival team's colors? It's this powerful, almost primal feeling, and yeah, I get it all the time. It's a pretty wild question when you stop and think about it. I mean, why? It goes so far beyond sports. It pops up in our politics, the brands we use, even the kind of music we listen to. It literally shapes our entire view of the world. So, what is going on inside our heads? Exactly. And if you've ever felt that way, listen up. You are not alone. This isn't some weird personality quirk you have. What you're experiencing is a fundamental, predictable, and frankly deeply human part of our psychology. It's like a blueprint that's hardwired into all of us. Okay, so this blueprint actually has a name. The whole framework that explains these tribal instincts is called social identity theory. A couple of social psychologists, Henri Tajfel and John Turner, came up with it back in the 70s. And it basically gives us the keys to unlock why we are so quick to create an us and a them. Right, and this is the most important part to get. The groups we're in aren't just casual hobbies. According to this theory, they become a huge part of who we think we are. And that explains so much. It's why when my group wins, I feel like I've won something personally. And yeah, when my group loses, my own self-esteem actually takes a hit. That's the theory in a nutshell. It all happens in a three-step process. First, we categorize. We just love putting people and ourselves into boxes. Gamer, student, liberal, hip-hop fan. It helps us make sense of the social world. Second, we identify. We start to emotionally connect to that group. Their identity becomes our identity. And then comes the third and most critical step, social comparison. And this leads to a really interesting outcome. To feel good about our group, and by extension ourselves, we instinctively start comparing it to other groups. And what's the easiest way to make us look good? Well, it's to make them look bad. It's not always this conscious, evil plan. It's more like a deep-seated defense mechanism for our own ego. And that is in-group bias right there. It's the reason I might genuinely believe that fans of my favorite band just, have better taste in music, or maybe they're just a little bit smarter than everyone else. We just can't help it. We see the people in our own group as more talented, more deserving, just better. Okay, I'm following you. I totally see this with my sports team or, my country. Those are important groups, they have history and meaning. But come on. This doesn't apply to totally random, meaningless groups, right? We have to be more rational than that. Well, that is the exact question that Tajfel wanted to answer. So he designed these brilliant studies that are now famous. They're called the minimal group paradigm experiments. And honestly, the results were just shocking. He wanted to find the absolute bare minimum it would take to create that us versus them mindset you were just talking about. And get this, the way he divided people was completely and totally arbitrary. He'd show them dots on a screen or paintings by abstract artists they'd never even heard of. In some of the studies, he literally just flipped a coin to put them in Group X or Group W. There was no history, no shared values, nothing at all. So after he put them in these completely meaningless groups, he asked them to hand out rewards like real money to other anonymous people in the study. The result? It was incredible. 70% of the people consistently gave more money and more resources to members of their own randomly assigned group. They actively chose to help their in-group, even if it meant the out-group got less.
Wow. I mean, that's just stunning. It takes almost nothing. Not shared values, not a common enemy, just a simple label to flip a switch in our brains and make us pick a side and start discriminating. It proves this isn't some high-level thing for big conflicts. It's a basic, automatic function of our minds.
Exactly. And if a simple coin flip could create tribes in a lab back in the 70s, you can only imagine what happens when you pour the gasoline of the 21st century internet on this little psychological fire. Oh, absolutely. Just think about the phone wars. The arguments between Apple and Android fans are almost never just about the camera or the battery life. It's all about identity. I'm an Apple person, or I'm an Android person. We pick the brand like it's a team, and we defend it like crazy to protect our own sense of self. And this is where it gets much more serious, especially in politics. Social media algorithms are literally designed to keep us engaged, and nothing is more engaging than our tribal instinct. So they feed us stuff that confirms our group is right and the other group is wrong.
And over time, political opponents stop being just people with different ideas. They start to feel like a real threat to our group and to our very identity. We stop seeing a person. We only see the label.
So, this is all starting to sound pretty depressing. Are we just doomed to be stuck in these endless us versus them fights forever? Well, not necessarily. The same psychology that explains the problem can also point us toward the solution. Once you know the blueprint, you can start to recognize it in yourself.
So what you're saying is we're probably never going to completely get rid of our in-group bias because it's just wired too deep. But we can become aware of it. We can learn to notice that little switch inside us flipping from, rational thinking to tribal defense mode. And just having that awareness gives us a choice.
And that is the real takeaway here. The next time you feel that little flash of anger at someone with a different political sign, or that instant defensiveness for your favorite brand, or even that immediate connection with a total stranger wearing your team's jersey, just pause for a second and ask yourself, is my brain switching into tribal mode right now? Because that awareness, that simple act of just noticing, is the only thing that can really, truly begin to bridge the gap between us and them.